I've made a few videos recently on bugs that became somewhat of a spectacle within the FF14 community, and considering what has happened in patch 7.4 with this little guy, it'd be remiss of me not to talk about him. If you know about him, a little later on in the video is a nice segment on the player base's response to him that I hope you'll enjoy. If you don't, this guy is nothing. Full stop. He's a bug, an error, a piece of code that was shipped in an unfinished state. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you his story and how tens of thousands fell completely and utterly in love with him. As a quick side note, if you want to support deep dives into FF14's community and its past, please do consider subscribing. It really does mean a lot to me. Patch 7.4 Into the Mist released on December 16th of 2025, and with it came the final heavyweight tier of the Arcadian raid series, additional phantom jobs for the Occult Crescent exploration zone, and the long-awaited introduction of the Doom Train from Final Fantasy VIII as a battleable foe. A continuation of the story as well, finally leading out of the end of Dawntrail's plotline and carving a path towards the inevitable 8.0 expansion and whatever it could hold. An exciting time for the community. The future was bright. Ahead of them was patch 7.5, loaded with promise, and between it and the tail end of the current release, they could expect a new Criterion dungeon, an ultimate raid, an additional Occult Crescent zone, and most titillating of all, an entirely new job in the form of Beastmaster, the second ever limited job set to be added to the game after Blue Mage, which came all the way back in Stormblood. But what nobody had anticipated is that at this very moment, hidden away, there may just be a little piece out there in the wild already waiting for some eagle-eyed player to observe. A discovery came on patch day shortly after the servers first went up. Over in Coerthas Western Highlands, the first zone of Heavensward, a new mob had appeared, though it was all too easy to miss completely. So, scattered all around the zone are these Steinbocks. They are herbivorous antelope doe type creatures, which, interestingly, apparently communicate by swishing their tails at one another. Don't ask why I know that or where I read it, because I cannot for the life of me remember, but that is supposed to be the case. These are some of the entry open world trash mobs in Heavensward, and I would not blame you for forgetting about them entirely. They're not exactly memorable or anything like that, but amongst their throngs were something the same, but different and entirely new. A different mob sharing the same model, but with no name and a messed up level. Instead of being in the late 40s to early 50s, they were just level 1. Instead of being named Steinbocks, their name was signified by just a single full stop. More than anything, it was clear that they shouldn't be here. Something was amiss. It had to be. Players quickly began to investigate, learning that there were a number of these incorrectly assigned mobs scattered around the zone in various locations. The patch notes themselves confirmed the error, stating that they had confirmed an issue with the Coerthas Western Highlands, wherein certain enemies spawned erroneously. This meant that Square Enix was aware of it, and it was possible that time was short and it was set to be removed soon enough. It didn't aggro naturally unless you attacked it, and when interacted with using an emote or any targeted interaction, it dropped no name in chat log, instead just finishing the sentence with a lone space and an out-of-place full stop. They didn't seem to have any knock-on effects or anything like that, and were, for all intents and purposes, harmless and, well, useless. Because of their level, they were easy to defeat for any player able to access the level 50 zone, and upon killing them, they would respawn quickly enough. Acting as intended mostly, but clearly unintentional. A seemingly small and inconsequential bug, but news of it spread like wildfire. An immediate connection was made. This had to in some way be related to Beastmaster, surely, right? That was the assumption many held. When Blue Mage had released, the leveling process involved defeating overworld mobs and obtaining spells from them. If Beastmaster worked similarly at all, it was a fair prediction to assume that it would feature some component of going around the world and capturing monsters, adding them to your arsenal, and wielding them alongside your own weapon. It was possible that some kind of spaghetti code had either prevented the old versions of mobs from functioning, necessitating new ones to be created for that purpose, or that the addition of code in preparation for 7.5 in the back end had caused some of the original mobs to bug out and become miscategorized. Which, if any of those is true, is and will remain a prediction for now until the limited job releases, but regardless of the reason now, this zone was populated with these weird bugged versions of this long-forgotten wild animal. But that's the thing. Thanks to all this, it certainly wasn't long forgotten anymore. For whatever reason, be it the relative helplessness of the poor thing, or the fact that it wasn't supposed to be there, or maybe that in some strange way, it was kind of cute. The FF14 community became enamored with the unnamed level 1. As word spread, players would come to visit the curiosity themselves, taking pictures and sharing them across social media. This would in turn cause more and more people to come, more posts to be created, and from that small action a frenzy was whipped up. Fan art was created in its masses, comedic videos featuring the thing. People would come and hang out next to it and host a vigil to watch over it in their dozens. Other factions would take the more chaotic approach and attempt to spawn kill the beast repeatedly to prevent others from taking those aforementioned photos, which would in turn cause drama and arguments to erupt. If you hopped from world to world or data center to data center, each end location would have had an entirely different response to the level 1. The only thing you could be sure of was that there would indeed be a response. I sat outside it on my local server for an hour just to count the number of people that came to visit within that time frame, and for that particular unnamed Steinbock, I counted no less than 14 visitors, not including myself, on a random Thursday afternoon when most would have been at work. It was like a cult. Then, disaster struck. On December 18th, a post appeared on the Lodestone informing players that an emergency maintenance would be taking place that day in order to implement hotfixes related to patch 7.4. The servers would be down for 4 hours, which is a fairly non-standard length hotfix downtime for days aside from patch releases, meaning that many were anticipating a slew of updates that would fix many of the issues mentioned in the original patch notes. It was all but assumed that this bug would be fixed, and what had become the key sightseeing location of 7.4 for regular players would be removed from the game for good. This further perpetuated affairs as selfies with level 1 quickly cemented themselves as the go-to action for players wanting to feel like they had been a part of the event. But when the servers came back up, the surprise was that there was no surprise. It was still there just as it had been on patch day. Square Enix had not eliminated it, either through deeming it of low enough importance to not be worth handling yet, or through active choice to let the fun keep on going for just a little bit longer. Which one is true isn't clear. As a little nod, the game's official Twitter posted this tweet shortly after the maintenance. And that is exactly where things lie right now, just a week after patch. The level 1 nothing still exists and you can still go and visit it, just like many others still are. You can snap a screenshot, post a funny video or some art, and many will likely show their appreciation for it. An opportunity to be a part of a strange, small snapshot of FF14 history before it's gone for good, that many will likely remember fondly. And with that, I'll leave you with a montage of some of the highlights, the posts that people made about this moment, and the part they took in it. Hopefully, the level 1 nothing will live on for many days to come. Thank you so much for watching this video, I really do appreciate it. Please do consider supporting my Patreon or becoming a YouTube member like these fine folks. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.